Hi, it's finally time. Welcome to the first video of the House of the Dragon Explained series. This is going to be a spoiler-free analysis series for all impactful characters of our new show House of the Dragon. Okay, when I say spoiler-free, well, I'm not going to go into endgame stuff, and I obviously won't spoil any major events or go into too much detail. Before you do, it would be cool if you guys could give a spoiler warning down in the comment section as well. As someone who got spoiled about the Red Wedding literally 2 episodes before seeing it, I can confirm that this spoils not only the plot but also the fun. That being said, there are going to be some minor spoilers. I consider everything that is shown in the trailer to be spoiler free as well, by the way. If you don't want to know anything about this new show, you might want to check out a different video on our channel. So, how is it going to work? I'll split these videos into 3 parts. Part 1. Who's the character? Part 2. What can we expect from the character? And we'll close it out with a short part 3 where we take a little look at who will play the character. Without further ado, let's do it! Who better to start this thing off than the most controversial character of House of the Dragon? The Rogue Prince, Daemon Targaryen. You probably already heard that name even before there was talks about a potential Game of Thrones spin-off show. So, who is Daemon Targaryen? For starters, he's actually one of George R. R. Martin's favorite Targaryens. Let's hear it from the man himself.
You know, I'm notorious for my love of gray characters. And one of the grayest characters in the entire history of Westeros is Daemon Targaryen, the Rogue Prince. We took one of the sidebars and made a separate story out of it, the Rogue Prince. Daemon is the younger brother of King Viserys I. For a time, he was the heir to the throne when Viserys had no children. And then Viserys started having children, and he stopped being the heir to the throne. He's a notorious bad boy, a rogue in every sense of the word. He was a rival for Viserys' sister and his own niece, Rhaenyra, and then later he became the husband of Rhaenyra. He switches sides several times. You never know what side he's going to come down on. He's a very colorful and unpredictable character, and I think he has to rank up there as my favorite.
Shout out to the Aegon Targaryen channel, where I found this clip, by the way. Being morally grey describes this man perfectly. He's such a phenomenal character. As George just mentioned, Daemon is the younger brother of King Viserys I. He starts out as heir to Viserys' throne, but as we can see in our second teaser trailer, he gets cast aside and Rhaenyra is proclaimed heir by Viserys. Daemon also served in the small council in different roles. First as Master of Coin and then Master of Laws. Even though he hated his jobs, this gave him a clear understanding of how things are dealt with during the peak of the Targaryen dynasty. The Hand of the King. Otto Hightower despises Daemon, which results in a very entertaining rivalry. This rivalry gets even spicier once Daemon is installed as the commander of the City Watch of King's Landing. This gave Daemon a lot of power, because installing him as commander of the City Watch also meant giving him command over 2,000 soldiers. Daemon gave his soldiers gold cloaks, which is also where the name gold cloaks originated. Daemon has a pretty legendary reputation, and he earned the name Lord Fleabottom because of his relationship to scum and villainy of that area. He doesn't really act like a highborn, and that is heavily demonstrated by the sort of company he shares. Take an eye out for Miss Arya, his mistress. She's a Varys-like figure who will play a very important and controversial role in our new show. Daemon is a ruthless warrior with his Valyrian steel sword Dark Sister, as well as a feared dragon rider with his dragon Caraxes. In the trailer we can see him marrying Rhaenyra, which is his 3rd marriage, by the way. Yes, 3rd marriage. All in all, Daemon is a power-hungry, ruthless, and yet cunning player of the Game of Thrones. His ambition is what drives him. He's one of the characters you should look forward to the most. We have to keep in mind that a lot of what we know about these characters is biased work. We'll get answers in House of the Dragon, so what can we expect from Daemon Targaryen in House of the Dragon? Well, this is obviously me shooting wild shots in the dark, but I think we'll stick very close to the source material this time around. Go check out my video on our new showrunners to learn exactly why I think this is the case. Anyways, I think Daemon Targaryen will be the most polarizing figure in our new series. A wild man. Someone you should never trust. Anything can happen at all times and is always going to be at the center of conflict. Without spoiling anything, he'll cause trouble right from the get-go. I'm expecting to see a ruthless, merciless, but quite cunning warrior whether it be on his dragon Caraxes or with his sword Darksister. I'm expecting him to be our main character in terms of big action in season 1. We can see him fighting Kristen Cole in the very first teaser trailer of House of the Dragon, and he'll be involved in something else too. Despite all the action, I really hope we get some witty dialogue out of this character. Both teaser trailers concentrate heavily on Daemon and use him as a voiceover, which indicates that, yeah, we might actually get that. His rivalry with Otto Hightower is quite Varys and Littlefinger-like, even though Daemon doesn't play the part of Varys himself. It's going to be interesting to see how they will approach his many relationships in the show. While, yeah, he's a wild man, I want that part of his character to be portrayed in a serious fashion, rather than comic relief. I imagine this character is going to split the entire fandom in half. You can't justify everything he does, and that's what makes George R. R. Martin's characters so fascinating. He's one of the characters that allow this story to be complex, even though so many dragons are involved. Don't expect an honorable man, because that's not at all what he is. We're going to see multiple timelines in season 1 of this show, which makes it interesting to see how they will show the development of our characters. I think it would be pretty cool if we get to see glimpses of the man Daemon will become very early on. I want to see the events that shaped the Rogue Prince. Again, it's such a fantastic character and one of our key figures in House of the Dragon. They have to get this character right, and I think they chose a pretty good actor for the job. Which brings us to our last point for today's video. Who is going to play Daemon Targaryen? Probably our most famous actor on this new show, the 39-year-old Matt Smith. Before transferring to television and film, Matt was a theater actor, taking part in quite a lot of plays. He still occasionally performs on stage, and he even played Patrick Bateman in a musical adaptation of American Psycho back in 2013. Yes, that actually happened. Although he landed multiple roles in television and film, he's probably most known for his role as the 11th Doctor in the British sci-fi classic Doctor Who. He was also nominated for an Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series in 2018 for his role as Prince Philip of Edinburgh in Netflix's The Crown. Well, and now he'll play the Rogue Prince in House of the Dragon. I like this casting. He definitely delivers some range, which will come in handy for such a powerful and complex character like Daemon. The wigs are pretty controversial amongst the fandom, but I think they're pretty okay. And that's all I have for the first of many videos in this series. I want to keep them casual. These videos are for the more casual viewer after all. I don't want to spoil anything. We're gonna get into way more detail along the way as the story progresses in television, or we will have a discussion on the podcast. But until then, no major spoilers on this channel. So, we're going to switch between the blacks and the greens for every video of this series. Daemon started the blacks, so who better to start the greens than his rival, Otto Hightower. You can expect the Otto Hightower video very soon. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Subscribe so you won't miss this series. Take care and see you later.